question for you, Nakia. Like, I know she's from Moesha, but what are the similarities between yourself as an actor and Tanya Sloan?
Say that one more time.
Like, what are like the similarities between like yourself as an actor and like Tanya Sloan as a character?
Oh, I feel like, thank you for that question. You know, the producers actually, when I was on the show, they came into my dressing room and asked me some of my hobbies. And so they really took note and kind of formed Tanya around me. Rangers in the outfield, I played baseball with the boys. I literally played baseball, and I played pitchers, shortstop, and second base. So that's where that episode came from. They heard me singing in my dressing room, so another song and dance where we wouldn't shut up. Another song sung yellow, where I had to decide if I was going to stay a Ranger or accept the record deal. That was so. I feel like there were a lot of similarities to who I am as a person. And then you were talking about Moesha. That is that's not me at all. There was no Nakia in that. 'Cause I talk like this. Nakia doesn't talk like that. But it's so fun. Comedy, when I left Power Rangers, I did a lot of sitcoms. And I love comedy. My family is just comedy. Like seriously, you just go home, my dad, my brothers cracking on each other, we all crack on each other, we do skits, all of that. So my life after Power Rangers has really been comedy, which is why I wrote Back to Bridgewood, which is comedy. So that is just innately in me. But thank you. Hopefully I answered your question.
We can easily extend that question to the rest of you. Are there any similarities between you as actors and people and your characters? I mean, I heard some.
Yeah, like Nakia said, when we audition and they look at your special skills on your resume, I had rollerblading, rock climbing. Those are all things that I did before Power Rangers. I was like, please do snowboarding. But they didn't, so yeah. Well, they can figure it out.
I mean, yeah, like they said, they literally talked to, that was part of the audition. Like part of it was doing our monologues and then doing like martial art. I did a dance routine with martial art moves in there. But they then brought me in and like we sat there and talked for like 30 minutes. And they were just talking and asking me all these questions. And I had just graduated high school, like I literally was 2 months out of high school. And they were just like, what do you like to do? And what do you see yourself? And just a bunch of stuff. But what I realized is they wanted all of our characters, I think, because we were so young and so new to acting, to just stay as true to the character. I was a teenager. I was a high school student, so it was very easy to create Aisha. The only thing that I kind of put in there was I knew, like I never watched the show prior to getting on the show, but once we got on the show, we found out, oh my God, 3 people had left the show and we were taking their place. And I was like, what? And so we didn't know that auditioning. We thought we were joining the team. And so I had never seen the show, and they told me, don't watch it. You are completely different from Twee, and we want you to stay different. And I was like, okay. And I go, but I need to be like, I think she's sassy. I don't want to be the girl who's like, help me. I want to be the girl that's like, I'm helping you, And so they were like, okay. And so I always like really, told them like, I want Aisha to be strong. I want her to be, just one of those girls who will say what's on her mind. Maybe that gets her in trouble, but she's just that girl. And so they were like, exactly. Started that.
Yeah,
Sassy girl.
Ranger became
strong
and powerful.
Yeah.
Because of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you guys, because we did not get spoken, like, they didn't speak to us about our characters at all. And like, you guys did a monologue?
Yeah,
Really?
we had.
And they asked you questions?
Yeah, no, I was in there. They
None of
literally, like, we sat in there for 30 minutes. It was like, I was in there longer talking to them than I was even auditioning, yeah. And they just wanted to get to know me. And I always was just very outspoken about her because I knew, like, this is a Black girl. She's sassy. I want her to be strong. I want her to be sweet. I want her to be positive. But I also just really want her to be tough. I don't want her to be the girl that gets rescued. I want her to be the girl that rescues. And she can stand up with the boys. And so thankfully, they were like, yeah, like they were into it. So, and I thought they kind of really made, they made really different. And I thought that was good. Every little girl needs to, every little girl is not the same. So, you're either sweet or you're sassy. So here we are, the sassy yellows.
I like to say cute, but psycho.
Yes, that's it.
I think for me, it's been a fun evolution of my acting journey. So when I was a 15, 16-year-old or so, I kind of went more that method way, which as a young person, you're seeing people in the street, and that my character was called Delphi. So they'd be like, oh, Delphi, I saw you do this. And then that's kind of, it's not screwy, but it does inform your story a little bit. So you're like, okay, well, that's my life. That's how I'm going to approach this character, and I'm going to mold it to me. And then as the kind of journey and the trajectory of my career went, it was like, okay, now how do I differentiate the character's reaction, my reaction, and what I've come to is we look how we look. We can change our hair color, we can change our body mass, it can be a bit bigger, a bit smaller, but intrinsically we just are ourselves. And then as an actor, the greater life you lead, the more colourful, the more experiences you have, the more people you meet, the more stories you hear from other people and their experiences, the greater your character's going to be, the more layered your characters will be, just by virtue of the fact that you're more filled. And that's where I am now, is knowing the difference between the character. Whereas when it was Lily, I'm so sure it was, okay, so Anna's super sweet, bubbly, she'd like to be a team player, and that's Lily stuff. Mark, our director, had us make a music playlist, and then also how Lily would react, how Anna would react. And I think that's more that Stella Adler technique of your character's life is very different to your life. Approach it that way. So yeah, it was a really beautiful way to kind of take on acting and how you approach characters. When we were doing Rangers, because it was kind of in that middle bit of like, how do I want to do this? Method acting is really screwing with me, and I think that that's a very interesting approach to acting. Try that. Not doing it today. That didn't work out that good for me. So yeah. Thank you. That's a fun question.
I'm really jealous. They didn't talk to us about our characters at all. We literally found out about our characters with each script. They didn't talk to us when we auditioned. We went in, we had like 3 lines that we read, and I went in like 6 times. Didn't talk to us, and then said, okay, bye-bye. And then we booked the parts, and they didn't talk to us about our characters at all. So I'm so jelly, like,
They must have loved what you were doing. I know.
It's really weird. Like, okay.
She's got it, baby.
None of my cast, we didn't know who we were as people till we got our next script. So, well, I'm glad that they took their time with you. We were the stepchildren, I guess.
Once it started going, they were talking to us. You would just get your scripts and you would go. But I think in the beginning, yeah. Well, and I
But you also have to create it yourself.
Yes.
Like, you have to come up with your own backstory and who you are.
Yeah.
But obviously they liked what you guys did.
Yeah. No jokes.
Don't be jelly.
This is yellow ranger. Here has a question, I think.
I have 2 questions. The first one's for all of you. Do you like being yellow, or would you rather be pink?
Oh no.
I wanted to be the Black Ranger, and I begged them, and they were like, "Give him that yellow suit."
And the next question is for you, Aaron. What was the difference of the movie set and then the TV show?
Oh my God.
Big
The movie sets were out of this world. Like one of the set designers, he had worked on Indiana Jones. They brought in the big guns. So it was like everything was, they always said it's bigger and better. And it was. It was the sets were out of control, the costumes were out of control. everything was, they were trying to really make an impression because, you know, Power Rangers was a huge TV show, but it wasn't, you know, they'd never done a movie, and so they were hoping that this would be the big one. And so thankfully, you know, we got some really cool stuff. I mean, you guys have seen Ivy News, and he was such a funny, you know, villain to go up against, and the suits were armor, and I mean, we literally stood, every weekend we'd go to the, you know, we didn't have weekends off, we'd go, and we'd stand there for hours, and they would draw the muscles, and draw, like they handmade them to our bodies. The only thing they messed up is that when I got my helmet, we had to have our head cast, and they were gonna make the helmets really sleek and fit really perfect. Well, I didn't have braids, and so when I got to Australia, I was like, I kept going, I need braids, because there's just no way I can do this movie. You know, and no one in Australia really knew how to do black hair. It was different, it was curly, it takes a little bit longer. And so they were like, yeah, let's do the braids. And so then I come out with braids down to my butt, and it did not fit in the helmet. So every time you see the Yellow Ranger, my head's kind of turned because this side of the helmet was open. Like, not shut. But yeah, so it was like all these tricks. But it was, I mean, the movie was amazing. How do I like being in the season, the first seasons? You know what, it was great. Like when I came on the show was a huge hit, and I was in high school, and I was trying to graduate, trying to go to college. So unfortunately I hadn't seen it, but I quickly found out that I won the golden ticket, and I was on one of the coolest shows ever, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so proud of everyone that's been on it, because we get to be tough, you know, really cool girls for cool girls like you know, and so that's such an honor for us to be able to be hopefully a good example for you.
Just like I love being here, and I want to say Yellow News.
Yeah! Yes, girl, get it!
Forever yellow.
Razor just for us.
Perfect, exactly. Now, speaking of the show at the height of its popularity, Laesan Davis, welcome to you. Situation of this being the third season of the show, when you came on to the thing, it was obviously big and super popular, and were you a fan of Power Rangers as a kid while it was going on? And then you got the show, what was it like jumping into that, knowing what it was? At your age, especially as a kid.
Well, at my age, I was watching in real time, like A1 day one. Where my A1 day one? Very first episode, and anticipating it from all the commercials. So, being a kid actor at that time, I wasn't doing a whole lot, but that was my first major role, so to speak. So to be on the show that you rush home from school to see every day, it was going on in real time in my life. Layers to that were my school, when they saw, because I didn't broadcast things like that. My teachers knew because we had to do homework on set and things like that. But when the school found out in real time, because we're that age and we're watching it, man, they made a big deal. You know, walking through the hall, classrooms would come out, K through 8. So just cheering, super, super supportive. My teacher was like, depending on how long this goes, I definitely will be your on-set, you know, teacher. Everybody was just full in and made a big announcement at our weekly kind of chapel assembly. So it was a good time. It was a good time. I was glad to be a part of the brand. And I mean, I never thought 30 plus years. That little show, we weren't even in anime, like for real,
It's
like
all
that.
their fault.
Thank you. That is cool. Let's go right here, and then right here, and then right there. Yep.
So my question's for Tracy, Alyson, and Anna. The three of you kind of have, your characters had canon kind of relationships with other Rangers, or in your case, Alyson, like a flirtation with Eric. Where do you think those relationships are today?
Eric says, who's Eric?
I don't know the character names.
Sure, I'll take that one first. Andros. I
it was Andrus, though.
It was Andrus. Yes. Where are they now? I don't know. I guess KO35. Where, I don't know. There's babies. I don't know. You can tell I haven't thought about that much.
That's funny.
Taylor and Eric. Well, you know he was doing a lot of mansplaining with the quantum defender, which is why I brought the quantum defender. I will never do that ever again. I've gotten in so much trouble with TSA and in Dublin airports. I had a supervisor take me aside, and I went in a whole other section with the quantum defender, and I had to say, I had the helmet, I was a Power Ranger, I had a gun and carry on. But I brought what?
Power Rangers helps you get out of a lot.
Right? Oh, yes, it does. Which helped me last night. Anyways, so and then of course Eric throws Taylor the quantum defender, right? And she has that whole thing. But I think Taylor probably, liked being flirted with, but I think ultimately probably they would have probably killed each other. If they were two very strong personalities. I think Taylor just was in the Air Force and ended up training and enjoyed all the young men who came through. Who she could mentor. It all starts with men. Menopause. But anyways, thank you for the great question.
I'm really glad you asked this because in Jungle Theory with Theo, that relationship's so beautiful, and I have been thinking about it. I think they are good friends, and that might sound a little bit boring, but to me, as we get older, our friends are so important to us. In relationships, stuff can happen, and then you're done, and it's finished. And I think what Theo and Lily had is truly so special, and the way that they navigated it throughout the series with just looks, being there for each other continually, and really showing that friendship. I think that's more gorgeous. That is where I find that story goes, that they are just true best friends. And I've been told in the past, females and males can't be friends. There's always someone who wants more. I think this is one of those relationships where it is just a beautiful friendship. And then, there's those Spartacus ones that I did where it was different. But I think that's why I add so much more value to the Theo and Lily relationship. It's because we didn't go there, we didn't do all that other stuff. It was just like, we go for pizza.